The Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. The Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. Dig.
Well, I know somebody who did a crazy Christmas movie.
All right, welcome to a special edition of the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs on this Friday night, right before a Retro Cup finale. There we go, right there, the Retro Cup. Clayton's in the lead, and so we're going into Sunday, and so we're going to be crowning the winner. It's going to get this this little ring right here.
Yeah, like nice. Super Bowl ring, ain't it?
And then we start, a big announcement I made on Facebook is Poker Gladiator starts, and so here you go, folks. That's what Heads Up Poker Tournament we're going to be doing on May 31st. It's going to go live, but we're going to actually have it air again with commentary. We got Clayton doing commentary, my brother doing commentary. We're poker experts.
Yes.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. Ben's just said he's going to be there, so that's why we're doing a special podcast tonight, because Ben Taylor is back.
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest nights of podcasting we ever did here. Ben was part of it, and we had a great conversation about like dating. I think that Olivia was on.
Yeah.
And then we went to a bar, and you got punched in the face because you're trying to be a nice guy. And then I pushed the guy off a stool. Was that the same night, or is that that might have been a different night?
It's a violent group we have.
I know. Uh-huh. And it was like, that was a different night, but that was like Joey Max's first time hanging out with us. I'm like, I swear, we're not like that. Yeah. So, you lived in St. Louis, you moved away, and now you're back. Where has Ben been?
I had a boring year. We had boring years. So I had this lifelong dream. I mean, not like a major dream, but I wanted to buy a sailboat. Live on the sailboat, learn how to sail, do all that shit, and I did that.
Okay,
you lived on a sailboat?
In Marina Del Rey, yeah. So
that's just like George Strait's song, right?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that song.
Yeah, Marina Del Rey, yeah. Go ahead.
I'll have to look it up.
I don't know if I feel like I'm on focus. But anyways, how did you get the sailboat? Did you rent the sailboat, buy the sailboat?
I like more than 10 years ago, and I know that dates me. I was in Long Beach, smoking weed, walking along the beachfront trail and everything, and there are all those boats and everything, and I ran into someone, and I said, do people really live on these boats? And they said, yeah, and do you want to take a look at it? So I said, of course. I went and I looked at this boat, and I ended up having the coolest time. Smoking weed, playing the guitar, and I saw a couple of different boats. I'm like, wow, I dig this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And from then on, from time to time, we all look at the internet, and there's whatever website that we go to, hopefully the good ones, sometimes the bad ones. But I would look at boats online, and I'd look at boats on Craigslist, boats.com, yacht.com, and and I just wanted a boat, and
it's like sleeping on a waterbed on the water, right? It's like
at first it is.
It's like a giant waterbed.
Well, there's kind of that.
How did you afford the boat? Not saying you, and then how did you maintain and pay for the boat as you were living on the boat?
I wasn't saving up for the boat, but I just had a few years where I just acquired money. I just working 2 jobs for a few years and didn't really spend it, and then I had the money, and yeah.
So you went down, lived on the boat for a whole year? Was it a year that you were on the boat?
Almost 2.
Then almost 2 years. That's what's so funny, because you said when you're here, I felt like it was like last year, but you're right. It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
it's weird how time flies.
Why did you come back to St. Louis then?
Boring reason. I mean, I was planning on. I was done with the boat. Mm-hmm. And I can get into that later. But I was done living on a boat. I was planning on going somewhere completely different. And then my dad called me one day, and his wife had died. And she was sick, but I wasn't aware of how sick she was. Okay. She was in the hospital, but I mean, she wasn't really that old, or maybe she was late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not common that people die at that age, and it seemed so sudden. My dad's from a different country, and he's a fucking asshole, so he doesn't really have friends.
What country's your dad from?
He's from Australia.
Oh, okay. So
It's pretty far away.
You're half Australian.
Descended from prisoners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That explains a lot.
you're half Australian. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came back, and I stayed with him for a few weeks. That was it. That dude sucks.
Oh.
Well,
maybe he was just going through grievance and Morris or whatever.
I would like to chalk it up to that, but I cannot. I moved out at a really young age, and I can't say over the last 30 years, I don't think I've spent more than a couple hours at a time in the same room as this guy. And I wouldn't necessarily even see him every year over these last 30 years. Sometimes, a couple times a year, then maybe 3, 4, 5 go by. And, you forget things. And being back there, I remembered a lot of things. I remembered who he was, and I have to say it was pretty traumatic afterwards, because I relived so many things, and oh man, I was.
You had flashbacks, huh?
Oh yeah.
Did you grow up with your dad?
I grew up with my dad. My parents divorced when I was 6, and weirdly, I was raised by my father.
Oh, okay.
And that dude is he's a fucking prick, man. He's not a good guy.
You might not be in the will talking.
Yeah, so I'd say. Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Me and my dad don't always get along, but
Clay wouldn't say anything back 'cause he wants to be on that will.
Yeah. I mean, my dad's pretty hardcore, but I think I feel you, brother. I mean, I don't know your story in detail for sure, but I get a sense.
What's some things that he did to make him made you think he's a prick?
He's just a bad guy, man.
Like, what's example he?
Well, we have Mother's Day coming up.
Yeah, what did he did? He used to hit your mom or something? I don't know.
Oh, I mean, he hit everyone.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
Taking the focus off of me so much, more as an observer.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing how he was with other people. Yeah, man, he was just bad, dude. He was bad.
So that's why you didn't live with him after coming of age, I guess, right? Probably 18, or when did you move out?
16.
16? Wow. Even
I
younger.
beat him up at 16, and that was it.
Wow. So you had a fist fight with him and left, I guess, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
People who hit little kids,
Well, you got him back, I guess, then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He fucking sucks.
Yeah. So where does he live at? Where is he at?
He lives in, geographically speaking, you know how some of these towns and everything they intersect, and it's sort of like the outer rim of the asshole of the universe.
Okay. Are you saying he's in Australia? I'm not sure what you're
Valley
saying.
Mines, which is like it's south of DeSoto,
Southeast Missouri, right?
Yeah, you get there from here in about an hour, 15 minutes.
So Missouri, he's living here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. He joined the Navy at 15, the Australian Navy, and that's how he met my mom. My mom was in the American Navy. And somewhere in there, they had a ship that needed repairs
Always goes back to the ship.
Oh yeah. And you want to know where the ship was? Long Beach.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Gotcha,
he was
gotcha.
in Long Beach for about a year. He met my mom. They got married really young, 18, and had some babies.
Mm-hmm.
Are you firstborn, secondborn?
I would be the second-born. My first, my older brother, he was born in Australia. They were gonna make it there, but my mom didn't like Australia. So she wanted to come back and settle down in the paradise, which is Jefferson County, Missouri.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I mean, when you on the face of it, Jefferson County versus Australia, Perth, right there on the coast. Everyone kind of lives on the coast, but I mean, it was, my Australian grandparents, they did really well, and it was such a soft landing. They had such a great life they could have had. But she didn't like the way Australians spoke or something like that. I mean, that's from the horse's mouth. Yeah, she didn't like it there. And there's no place like home.
So going back to it sounds like you'd probably be moving away again. I mean, because there's no reason to stay if your dad's an asshole.
Well, I mean, I was planning on going somewhere, Charleston, actually.
Okay.
Oh, I've been there before. Yeah.
It just
They got
Charleston
lots of ships there in the harbor, the museum and all that.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, I want to live on a boat again, but next time, not sail. I want to live on a fishing trawler, like a Grand Banks 42 or something. Like
Okay.
that. A lot of people, whenever they think fishing trawlers, they think probably what I would have thought, something like kind of commercial or whatever. But
Like a Bubba Gump, the Jenny.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
fishing trawlers, the majority of them, they're really nice. They're these cabin cruisers. They're beautiful, diesel powered. They're incredible. After I bought my boat, while I was waiting to get approved for slip in Marina del Rey, I was at the public docks for a while, and there's some wild characters at the public docks.
Okay.
And I was right next to someone that was known by everyone as the Pirate, and he had a Grand Banks 36. I ended up becoming really good friends with this guy. Great big old beard. And he was the Pirate because he didn't have a slip of his own. And there were a handful of people like that. They didn't have slips. And they'd come into the public docks after the office would close. And then they'd leave in the morning. They'd anchor out right outside the
outside,
marina.
yeah.
And then they'd take a dinghy or something like that and come in. Or, and I've seen it before, because I went sailing at least once a week. I'd see these desperate guys on their boats and just rocking like that. I mean, the ocean, the waves in the ocean are as intense as you think.
Yeah.
I
I remember reading an article about like a lot of people, if they got a lot of money, they'll be on a boat, but they won't be in a slip.
Yeah.
And they'll just be out in the bay, like San Francisco. I remember reading an article about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a bay or a harbor or anything like that, they're protected. Anything that's kind of
and then
surrounded.
they'd ride their dinghy back into town.
But
Sure.
these guys they'd be outside of the harbor because you couldn't anchor out in the harbor.
Okay, so
there
they'd be
were
out
so
in
many-
the ocean.
They'd be out in the ocean going like that.
Holy shit.
Okay, so the Pirate, he had a lot of connections and everything, and some of them they're pretty shady. So he very rarely would anchor out, right? That was why he was the Pirate. Well, he looked like a pirate. He had this beard and everything. He was awesome. I loved him. We became good friends. I love that Grand Banks of his. Oh my God, I love that boat. That boat is awesome.
Sailboat as well. You had a sailboat.
I
is that
had a
correct?
sailboat.
Okay.
That's great too. I have to say, I mean, it's kind of a toss up between them. Like, as a liveaboard, a trawler is the way to go because when you're in a sailboat, they're low profile. And when you go into the cabin, you go down the steps and it's kind of basement like. It's dark because the windows, it's mostly beneath the water.
Built into the hull, not a structure above the hull, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the trawlers, they have the structure for the most part above the hull. Now they might have a forward cabin and an aft cabin, but the main salon is going to be above.
Yeah.
And then even above the salon, you have what's called the fly bridge, and that can be covered or whatnot.
Yeah.
That's awesome too. And you might have the side decks that you can walk all the way around the thing.
Yeah. Well, sailboat, you got to be underneath the jib or whatever,
Yeah.
so you can't have everything up high.
Yeah, and it just it has this weird basement feeling, whereas the trawler is awesome. Trawlers rock, but they're fucking noisy. Pardon my language. It's diesel.
Diesel,
and they're
yeah.
loud. They're loud, especially his. Because he would always have the floor open, so you'd hear the diesel. He really dug it. Oh my god, that was loud as hell.
Yeah.
I used to, because we'd have, you really wanted control while you were in the harbor, so I would have the motor on as I'm leaving the harbor.
Sure.
As soon as I got past the wall into the Big Blue, I'd shut that engine off. And it was like so magical, so peaceful to finally get that sound off.
Yeah.
And
I
you're
had a small sailboat too.
oh yeah,
Yeah, a 12-footer.
Dude,
a
that's
big
bad.
one. Yeah, no.
I
I actually learned how to sail on my family's little lake, but a little sailboat,
those
But,
are awesome. I used to
yeah.
see those kids taking the lessons and everything.
Yeah, no,
Man, those
I
things
learned
are
how
so
to
mobile.
do that, and I thought about getting like a bigger one and be one on local lakes, but
Dude,
how
I'm
big
gonna
was
get on a
yours?
small one.
What was yours?
Mine was 30.
Oh, 30.
So
Okay.
it wasn't massive, but it wasn't that small. That's what I tell the gals about the boat.
Yeah.
Just right.
Oh yeah,
How did you learn to sail? You just
dude, I
bought-
just winged it, man.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Did-
take a single lesson.
Did you swamp the boat going too far to one side?
No.
No, you did good. Okay.
I mean, I try to heal it as much as I did crazy shit, man. Like I found that thing to be goddamn near unsinkable, and I didn't really take any lessons. I didn't hang out with a bunch of sailors. Or
Did
whatever,
you read your
so-
Chapman's?
What?
Your Chapman's. That's sailing manual, Chapman's.
No, I didn't read
Wow,
anything, dude.
man, you're a loose cannon, brother.
And yeah, but I found that thing to be damn near unsinkable. I'd ride like this, instead of towards the wave, I'd go this way, and I'd get that thing to rock me in. Yeah, it was awesome.
So you get the sailboat. What were you doing for work down there while you're?
I was bartending,
Oh,
and I was
bartending.
doing a lot of door dashing too.
Oh, okay.
I really never did much of that before, but I found that I was doing a lot of it then.
Well, we were talking about your dating last time you were on the podcast a long time ago. So how is the dating down there with the?
I didn't really, I didn't really date anyone.
You didn't meet
had-
women bartending and.
I had a couple gals, swing by the boat.
Oh, okay, they swung by the boat. Okay.
Yeah, you
Well-
got to show them the boat.
Yeah, well,
for the
sure.
audience, you have one of the. Actually, I tell your story on the pod. I've told your story probably 3 or 4 times on the podcast about you and the lady from when you were bartending here in St. Louis. She was filming Bad Grandmas. She was the woman from the Brady Bunch, the mom,
Yeah.
and she had the hots for you, and she kept coming, seeing if you were in every night or whatever. Why? I guess it was at the what bar was that?
That was at the
Starts with the C, doesn't it?
the Cheshire Inn.
Cheshire, yeah.
Cheshire Inn.
Cheshire Inn. So you're working at the Cheshire. She would check in on you and see how you were doing every night, and she was staying there because she was filming up in Illinois. She was filming Bad Grandmas.
I think it was something like that. I
Yeah,
forgot
she was in
called.
St. Louis because she was filming a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So.
some grandma murder mystery. I don't know. I feel terrible for not knowing it. I should know that. Maybe that's a little disrespectful to not know that, especially after so many years. But yeah.
You could have got a sugar grandma out of that.
Oh man, I could have, should have.
Yeah.
Maybe would have gotten a couple of parts in a movie. She actually promised me that.
You
I
never
kid
know where
you
that
not.
would have took you.
She,
You know?
she promised you a part in the movie.
Yeah, her and her agent, and there was this other dude that was in it. He was like he's not like an A-list actor.
Yeah, it wasn't like an A-list movie. It was. I'm almost positive it was called Bad Grandmas. Here,
But I know he was in School Ties. He's recognizable. Like if anyone saw him in a grocery store, even they would recognize this dude. I don't know his name, but
this is right here. This is the movie. Pam Grier was in it.
Was that it? Is that the?
This is the one that was made in St. Louis. Yeah.
Really, that's the name of it.
Yeah, and it's huge.
Oh my God!
Was that her?
Yeah, that's her.
Wow. Well,
Okay,
yay.
okay.
She's dead now. I mean,
Yeah, she's gone now.
What?
She died.
Jeez, how long ago is this?
This was a while ago.
Okay.
About 10 years.
Well,
right
she
at
looks
10.
like she's doing pretty good there. I don't know. Maybe she died.
I didn't even know
Younger
who
than,
she was. I thought she was just
She
some...
died. She died in November.
No, she was that lady.
Yeah.
She died in.
Well, gosh, I
November.
remember her from what TV show? What? It wasn't the
Brady
Brady
Bunch.
Bunch, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She
You
comes
could've been
into the Cheshire, and it was the Fox and Hounds was the name of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, oh my God, I'd get so busy at that place. Fucking crazy busy.
Was that the place by Bevo Mill?
No,
Cheshire
it's you know where the big Amico sign is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
40.
I've been in that place because
Yeah.
the name's familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been there before.
Yeah. Anyways, that place would get so busy, and I only worked there like 1 or 2 nights a week. The other 5 nights a week, I was at the Seven Gables Inn. It was like owned by the same company, and yeah, it would just get so busy, man. I didn't know their cocktail menu. I didn't know their point of sale system, and the place would just be wall to wall. I was the only bartender there, and then we'd have like servers that like at the different outlets that wanted drinks and stuff. Oh my God, I was so overwhelmed. She comes in one day and our kitchen was closed, and she asked for some food, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
So this
but
was like 10 years ago. She died in 2016. This is like 2015, 2014. We're here. Okay, did she? Okay, go ahead.
Well, she asked if she could have some food. I'm like, oh, I'm so
okay.
sorry. Our kitchen is closed. I don't recognize her at all. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm a big Brady Bunch fan. That was a long time ago anyway. So, I said that, and she asked for a special exception. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm just so busy.
You're playing hard to get.
Yeah, yeah.
You're playing hard to get.
Like 2 or 3 minutes later, man, suddenly I have a manager and one of these servers all like on my ass because I turned this woman down. They're like, that's Florence Henderson. You know, I'm like, who's Florence Henderson? Right?
So they
Look
show
it
you a
up.
picture on her phone. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, look it up. I'm like, dude, I don't have time to look it up. I'm busy. Just,
Well, did she want you to chew her food up for her?
I don't know.
Oh God.
And it was later on.
This 2 years before she died, so she's pretty.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
I found out later who she was, but she never held that against me, and she came all the time after that. You know?
Well, like you said, playing hard to get.
You're playing hard to get.
Yeah,
You
that you caught her like that.
Oh,
yeah.
I told her
that-
no. Yeah.
I should have done it.
Me and Clay would have been like, you gave her what she wanted. You know, we would just. You know,
Yeah. Well,
I
hey.
should have given her what she wanted.
yeah, well,
From the kitchen.
You would have been could have been her last great fling. It would have been. You know,
Yeah.
you probably could have put a couple of years on her life. You know.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. You know, give her a reason to
But
live.
that is one of my favorite stories about you. So living in Florida,
Florida.
living on the boat.
Well, I thought you were California.
Oh,
Yeah,
California.
Marina Del Rey.
Oh,
Okay.
That's California. I'm sorry. That's okay. Where is that? That's up
okay,
north
you know-
California or southern California?
You know where all the Instagram dudes and all that shit, all the influencers, they're always on a beach and they're always like interviewing people and asking questions and everything.
Yeah.
That's Venice Beach. That is one town north of Marina Del Rey. So you have Santa Monica. Well, okay.
Well,
You
it's,
have
it's all
Malibu.
right there in L.A., right?
Yeah, you have Malibu,
Yeah.
Santa Monica, Venice, Marina Del Rey. Then you have Playa del Rey, which is where I'd hang out, and then awfulness.
So
El Segundo.
did you have to deal with the fires?
No, I was out of there right before that.
Oh, okay.
Right before.
Okay.
Like yeah.
So is your boat still around, or did your boat make it, or was it?
I don't know, man. That was a bad deal. How I sold that thing for like no money. I mean, a little bit of money, but not what it was worth. I didn't want to keep paying the slip fee.
Slip, yeah.
I mean, that gets expensive. And these boats, they don't move. If you were to go to like boats.com or yachts.com or whatever the heck,
Yeah.
and look at these boats, man, you'll see the same boat year after year. You know?
Why?
I've seen them locally because you got these river boats.
Yeah.
And they'll be trying to sell these expensive boats.
Yeah, my brother
and give them away.
But my brother's he sold his big houseboat pretty quickly. I don't know. Maybe it's just
Is it the kind of boat that's on a trailer that's
no.
at his house?
This one's huge. It's like a huge houseboat, but he sold it pretty quick though.
Oh,
But,
that's
yeah.
On the river or on the lake?
He just sold both his slips, so I guess it took him a little while.
maybe because it came with a slip.
Oh, okay.
You know, because probably slips don't get sold quite so often. In Marina Del Rey, as far as I know,
But that's like California. You
Yeah,
figure
that'd be
everybody's
high profile.
Well, I know, but you
Yeah.
figure everybody's flocking to California trying to make it or whatever.
oh, dude, there's so many. I saw 95, maybe even 99% of those boats, man. They never left their slip.
That's how it is at my brother's boat dock.
Yeah.
Nobody leaves. They just
People
party in
will
the
The
dock.
gas is expensive.
Right.
People will buy a boat, they'll rent a slip and everything, and they have these ideas that they're going sailing every week and everything, and then they don't. Because it is kind of a hassle. Like, let's say your boat is ready to rock. It's Bristol clean. It's already fueled up and all that stuff. And none of that shit's going to be true. But let's say it is. It still takes like almost 45 minutes just to leave the marina. Especially where I was at. I was like by Mother's Beach. If you're like super rich or if you've been in the marina for like 30 years,
Yeah.
you might be at one of those fingers that are closer to the entrance to the harbor. But I was way the hell back at like Mother's Beach. And it would take like 35, 45 minutes just to leave. And then that amount of time to get back. So you want to go sailing, you're going to at minimum have to set aside half a day, but even more than that, because you have to get fuel, you have to get all these things ready. And parking is always going to be an issue. Now, I had a parking space there, but dude, that sucked too. It was 20 minutes to walk to my car every day.
So did you make good money out there in California? I thought this was Florida. So this is California.
I did okay.
But you're
did
pretty
okay.
close to LA then. I mean, you're not that far away from
I spent more than I made week after week. But
Did you
I had a cool routine. I liked my routine.
so you saw a bunch of influencers, and so that's what I heard about LA
I
now.
didn't-
It's mostly just packed with influencers
I
and
never
stuff
really
like.
went to Venice. You know, I've lived in Los Angeles a couple other times and loved Venice. This time, I don't know, I just really wasn't into it. I'd hang out at Playa del Rey all the time. And I had a good routine there. I had the coffee shop that I liked, the taco tent that I liked,
Yeah.
what's the other word for gyro? Shawarma.
No, I don't know.
There was this intersection there, like Lincoln and whatever the heck. You had my gym, you had my coffee shop, my dispensary, my grocery store, and taco truck and shawarma. It was all right there. It was pretty chill. Now I was in Marina Del Rey. This is like 4 miles away, but Marina Del Rey, I don't know. Like outside of the marina, wasn't much to it, you know.
So where would you bartend at? And so did you go like?
Oh god, I bartended in Torrance, which is like Hawthorne, Gardenia, Compton. That was a rough crowd, man. It was busy though, and my boss loved me, and I loved my boss, and she was pretty good looking chick, dude.
Well, yeah, they're all pretty out there, right?
Oh
And-
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, she was Chinese, and her English sucked.
Well, I mean, you didn't worry about that, though. Right?
No.
No,
I mean,
Yeah.
what her English was pretty tough, and she would go through staff, and by the time, I mean, it wasn't long before I was the most senior employee there.
Gotcha.
You know, she'd go through staff.
So you all were communicating better than the rest of them, huh? So,
Well,
I mean, y'all sound like maybe.
Well, that's what. So, from what my understanding, when I went out to California, I only went for vacation for like a week or so, but like 30,000 people show up a month or whatever, and then so there's constantly people. That's what you're saying. Like you were high on the list after a couple months because people went.
Well, it was a tough crowd. It was a tough bar to work at anyway because I mean, we got volume like a motherfucker, and that's in comparison to other bars in LA, which was how I was able to do well, even though I just worked a couple nights a week. We got volume like a motherfucker, and people couldn't keep up. So there was that. And then our crowd was really tough. It was a really tough crowd too. And they were mean. So yeah, we'd go through people, and her English was she had a really tough time communicating. So as far as like, training or expectations, people just kind of came in there, and it was either sink or swim. You had to bring your own skills. If you didn't have skills, you weren't going to learn them because there wasn't anyone to teach you. Even myself, because I was so busy. But I would do what I could.
So how much money would you make like on a good day? California money.
$25.
$25?
He doesn't want to talk about it, apparently.
I mean, I don't know what.
Well, I just, usually these waitresses and stuff, they love to talk how much money they make in one night. I don't fucking know.
I did okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't rich. I mean, you're over there. You're in Marina Del Rey.
Well, that's what I'm
Rents
saying.
there
Everything's...
would be like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month for an apartment. So no
Man,
matter what
wow.
I made, I felt really poor, and I was poor. But it was enough to. It wasn't quite enough to get by, because I am terrible with money.
You're spending more money than you were.
I spent more money week after week than.
Well, that's most people, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here in Missouri, and that's yeah. Missouri.
We only have so many years on this planet, and that was a good way to spend a couple of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can't take the money with you, right? So enjoy it.
Right. So I remember you said.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember you said that, Clayton.
Hey, it doesn't mean just, hey, like.
Anyways,
Hey, I need to get some reciprocation there. If I'm gonna help out, I need a little help myself.
So you called me out of the clear blue, and you had this movie idea that you pitched me.
Yeah.
And I listened to the message. It sounded kind of like reminded me of.
By the way,
it sounded like like one of those independent rom-com kind of almost like Garden State. Reminded me of the movie called Garden State. I don't know if you've seen that one with Zach Braff.
You know what? Yeah, there could be some similarity to that. That's a road film.
Yeah, I think so. So here's your pitch to, because you did great talking about the boats. So tell Clayton about your movie idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always looking to be a part of the project.
I'll hear from upstairs. I got to go to the restroom really bad because I drink a lot of water. But I'm listening. I'll be upstairs listening.
All
right.
Let me hear.
Am I telling Clayton or am I telling the world?
Oh man, that's right.
You can look at Clayton.
Hey, but
Right, look at me.
I'm the guy right here with you, so don't forget
right.
about me. So,
I won't forget.
All right.
I didn't think to myself, I want to come up with an idea for a comedy film. I don't know. I had these thoughts, and I couldn't. They wouldn't let go. And then it was like, it's like you have a funny idea, and it just won't.
Look, it keeps growing in your head, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And then you start thinking about characters, and they're funny and everything. So you're like, so I just started writing down scenes. I started thinking about a beginning, middle, and an end, and I started asking myself questions, and then the answers started coming up. It is it is inspired by a book.
Okay.
A book which I don't really remember much about it, which is why I can only say inspired by and not based on.
Yes, yeah.
It's William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying. So
okay.
right
I
now,
know the name, but I have not read that.
I call this As I Lay Driving. And
okay.
what it is, it's two cousins who hadn't seen each other since childhood, and one is, some uptight, stuffy cousin, the other is the comic relief. And anyway, so their grandmother dies, and she wants to be buried. At the wake, the entire family finds out she wants to be buried in some remote, quaint little small town across the nation, and nobody knows why. And because of logistics, they have to drive her themselves.
Okay.
And they're equipped with some. In my mind, I just keep seeing this beat up old station wagon, and I've talked about this to a couple people, and they always want to compare it to National Lampoon's.
Okay, sure. Yeah, because the grandma dies while they're on the trip, and they got to get her home, right?
I don't love that, but I still can't shake the idea of this station wagon, because it's such a ridiculous vehicle to drive.
Yeah, every once in a while I see a station wagon around town, and I always kind of, it evokes a certain feeling.
I grew up with that station wagon. This means more to me because of how personal it is than because of a movie.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. And that hot, sweaty goddamn station wagon without air conditioning. Carry all of us around.
No seat belts on, right? Yeah. You just fly through the windows, yeah.
Yeah, and so on their way, they calamity ensues, hilarity ensues.
So they're taking her ashes, I guess, across country.
No, they're taking the body.
Oh, wow! It's like a weekend at Bernie's, I guess. But I mean,
people have made that comparison too.
Of course, he was being conveyed as he was not dead,
Yeah.
But which I don't know what
I do very little with the body or anything. It's more about the trip, the characters they meet along the way, and any other than a couple moments where we see the ridiculous face that the mortician thought was his personal touch, because he believed that this was better.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Other than a couple scenes, it mostly stays away from that. And anytime we see the grandmother, it's in memories.
Okay, gotcha.
There's that occasional sweetness in there.
Gotcha.
The one thing that I do, and it's not really to be novel, I have always found, this has always irritated me with comedy films. So it's usually a pairing of like your straight man and your comedic relief. And the entire time the straight man is fussy and he has no humor and he's a dick, and somewhere in there's going to be a boy meets girl.
Yeah.
And somehow the girl always falls for him at the end, and I wonder like why this guy doesn't really have any redeeming qualities. Why did she fall in love with him? He was just a dick the whole time. So the one thing I do is the character arc isn't the straight man. It's the comedic relief.
Okay.
Although he plays as large a role as the main character. He's not in the opening scenes. It doesn't appear to be his story, but it becomes his story.
Okay.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I feel like that should be done.
It's a little bit different, yeah.
I'm not trying to be different. There's no way I'm gonna have this asshole who starts out with the girl and then loses the girl, get another girl, while this completely decent character who's funny and hilarious, and he's the guy who should win the girl.
Yeah, I guess when you're talking about this, I guess I'm thinking of like Ben Stiller kind of movies, because he's always
I appreciate that.
He's always the guy where you're like, oh my god, this he's got this girl that like loves him or falls in love with him, whatever. And I mean, I've always liked those kind of stories, because it's not, everybody's not perfect, and it shows the humanity of the character. And I guess that's what I'm taking from what you're saying here.
I love the other characters I put in there. One in particular, and when I first started putting together these, because I don't have many of the scenes written. I have about maybe a quarter of it written, but I have like a beat sheet of all the scenes. But as far as like the dialogue, I only have about a quarter of it. But the guy that I love the most, I love him so much. He had just one scene. Now I have him like 3 or 4. His name is Mr. Blackwood. And it is a description.
Yeah.
It's not just a name.
Gotcha. Wow.
Oh, he's a big dick.
He's a black guy, and he has like an obnoxiously large bulge right there. And I just love this character because he's so lovable, because he's Patrick would be the main character's name. He's Patrick's boss, and he has to fire him. He doesn't want to fire him. He's being forced to fire him. And I've put him in the very opening of it is the very first time we see this Mr. Blackwood character. And by the way, his first name is Max.
Max Blackwood.
Like
Max.
Good. He's on the phone apologizing to some girl because she thinks he's cheating, and he probably is. And in each scene that I have him in, everything he does, he's just constantly apologizing. He has so many balls in the air, and it's far too much for anyone. And everything crumbles around him, and he's just the most well-meaning person, and he's just constantly apologizing, even as he's firing Patrick, and he's running around in his desk. He's knocking things over accidentally with his bulge. I just love this guy.
So do you have an outline? Do you have this all written out with outline, but just not the dialogue? Yeah,
I have the dialogue in about a quarter of it, and that was I think I had made a post on the group on Facebook.
Do you have it written out? Like what's your software you're using for?
I'm just writing. I don't have a screenwriting software.
So it's not like formatted right with this.
I have studied a lot of formatting, and I'm,
Oh, okay.
just tab space.
Isn't Word or
I'm using
text,
Word.
Text down.
It sucks, but
There's Celtics or something it's called. I think it's.
I did use Celtics for A Good Luck Dear Wanderer, which is a dramatic film that I've been working on for the last couple years, and I'm really close to that. That one means a lot to me. That is, I guess you could say, it's a retelling of my life. But I just, in writing the dialogue, you get to that scene where he's getting fired by Mr. Blackwood. He's a black guy, and the way he speaks, I don't have the voice for that, and so many comedy films that are better ones. There's so much improvisation going on, and you have a writer, they write these scenes, they have this idea, they have this direction, but so much of the funny is put at the feet of people who are really funny. And I think that's a great idea, and that's what made me think, all right, that's what I need to do, because I'm funny. Like, if I'm behind a bar, man, I can make you fall off your stool. But if I'm sitting there writing, I get really serious. Internally, I can be a very serious, very dark person. And, I would love some collaboration on this with the funniest people in St. Louis, and we have some funny people. It's a great film.
Well, you should do just a workshop that you have a bunch of people that come together and read what you have, and then you can even have them act out the rest of the scenes, and then
I would love to do that.
So it's like a workshop thing. It'd be kind of fun. That's what I was thinking. That's why I was.
It would be so fun.
Well, I was thinking about doing it, talking to you about doing it because he has a warehouse with a stage now where you could have people meet there and do like kind of workshops and things like that.
The one guy that first that night I got into that trouble at the bar.
Yeah, which one's that?
That guy who had just joined his name is Max, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny.
He was supposed to come over tonight.
He would be a great Max Blackwood.
Well, we can see
like
if
the
he
way I
is
picture
married
it.
and his wife is happy.
I mean, he's a little young, but still he has what I'm looking for. Someone tall, muscular, thin, serious, cool.
Mm-hmm.
He has that.
Oh, that's an answer to the question. He's asking about you. Right
Oh, that'd be great for that. To
Wow.
get filmed.
Well, one thing we're going to talk about doing, I have a meeting with everybody tomorrow night about bringing back our old comedy skit show.
That'd be great.
And with his new warehouses, we're just looking for things to do like on Saturday nights there. We're going to have like a small audience, kind of a private event, kind of. You have to know the secret password to get in kind of deal. You have to be a friend of Clayton or the network to be able to go do it. But anyhow, so we're talking about doing that, but I thought it'd be fun to do a fun workshop like that because we did one last year for this kid with a pool. Was that last year? Might have been last.
Yeah, it was like
with
a
his
year.
pool movie, and it didn't really pan out. We were supposed to make a trailer or whatever, but the one thing we did do that was kind of fun was at Clayton's house. We did a read through of the script, and everybody seemed to have fun, even though the fucking thing was like fucking 300 fucking pages. But it was like fucking Gone with the Wind, but Gone with the Pool table.
Yeah.
But it was a little long. But no offense to Joey or whatever that wrote it, it just was. It was probably could have been cut the fat out of it a little bit, but it was a fun workshop we did. So if you're interested, we could do.
I think I would love that. When I first met you, it was during the pandemic, and everyone was like submitting ideas for sketches.
Yes,
and
that is how we met. And you
yeah.
did something on the guitar.
Maybe. Oh yeah, I did a song about masturbation. It was a country song.
That's right. You were actually kind of considered part of STL Live at the very end. That's right.
Yeah. But I remember we were pitching ideas for like sketches.
Yes.
I had that Goldstream Lager sketch.
Tell me about it again. I forget.
It was like a beer commercial for Goldstream Lager, and it was throughout it sort of implied that the beer was piss.
Yeah, I see what you're implying. Yeah, Goldstream. That's a good name. That's a good name. Definitely good.
Goldstream Lager. I have it written down.
That's that's funny. Yeah, I wish we would. Well, we got fucked with the whole pandemic shit, but we should have did more. But anyways, I was gonna. So I can set something up. So
the pandemic kind of saved me because I got shot January 26th.
You got shot.
Oh yeah, we don't hear this one. Yeah,
they told me you got shot.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that?
I don't think. Well, you didn't talk about the podcast.
Was this in Compton? Like when
No,
you were
no,
in
this was in St. Louis.
Where's the wound at?
It's,
well, was it in the buttocks?
What?
Like
in the penis.
And the penis?
No, I'm kidding.
we don't want to see it. We don't want to see it.
My wrist. It healed so well. It went through here. And
Oh shit! Yeah, I can kind of see the scar.
and it was the ulna bone and the ulnar nerve, and the bone. There was just this tiny little sliver connecting this from here, and it completely severed the nerve.
Well, how did you get shot? You never.
I was just trying to park my car. It wasn't even a thing, and I was trying to parallel park. I didn't want to pay for parking.
You're
on the landing.
downtown.
So I was on like Memorial Drive, like underneath where the bridges are. They have a few, like 4 or 5 meters there. So it was like Sunday night, about 9 o'clock. It wasn't busy or anything like that. There's like no traffic. And I'm backing into parallel park, and then I see lights some cars coming. So I just hold my position, wait for them to pass so I don't back into a car. And 2 of them pass by. And then one, instead of switching over into this completely open lane to pass me, they just get behind me and just blare on their horn. And I look in the rearview mirror, and it's this chick. She's like a biracial chick, which I'm into. I think everyone is. And she was good looking. She's, has real small, really nice features and everything. It's from what I could see in
she was blaring her horn at you?
Yeah, I could see from the rearview mirror. Now,
so you thought, hey, this is an opportunity right here, right?
Maybe.
I know. So you get out, and all of a sudden
I get out of the car, and I'm just trying to park my car, trying to play cool and everything. And I look good, too, because I'm going to like for me, I'm going to like a birthday party. I'm dressed up for it. I have like a nice pea coat on and everything. And so this chick gets out of this car, but it's not a chick. It's like just a small dude with like small dude syndrome. And you know how some of these gangsters, their hair's like all...
And you thought it was a good-looking chick?
I thought it was a chick, right? And this dude, he gets out and he has like the throat tattoo and the tattoos up here and everything.
Shit.
And he's got a gun.
He came out of the car with a gun?
And he just fucking shoots me,
He must
and
be on
then
drugs or
goes.
something.
And, I do what I guess anyone would do. Whip off my pea coat, wrap up my wound, get in my car, parallel park it because I know I'm going to the hospital. So I don't want my car to get towed. And, get on the phone, call 911 and say, hey, here I am. And that was a more difficult conversation than you'd think because they're asking for these super specific directions. Like, dude, I don't know. The cops come way before the ambulance does. And it was kind of cool because one of the cops was some dude that I had done, he went to the same jiu-jitsu gym.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. He went to the hospital with me. And the ambulance was like, it took like 15 minutes for the ambulance to get there. By then there was like 30 cop cars. I guess it was a slow night for them,
So what?
Yeah.
So did you ever catch the guy or what?
They did catch the guy. Now, he had turned himself in. They would have gotten him anyway because they had the traffic light there. And the camera caught the entire thing. They had his plates. They had everything.
Well, why did he say he did it? Was he under drugs or what?
Well, because I guess... I don't know, but my assumption is probably someone said you need to turn yourself in and say that it was self-defense or whatever so you can get off the hook or whatever. That didn't really work out too well for him. Because I guess he was aware that there was a traffic camera there.
Okay. So once he did it, he realized he was on camera.
So he turned himself in. He was in custody before I had made it to the emergency room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how much blood? Did you lose a lot of blood from your arm right there, or did you have it pretty much tied
I don't think
off?
I lost that much,
Oh, okay.
because I still have the same pea coat. I wear it all the time.
When you got shot, you knew you got shot. Was it a burning feeling? What did it feel like when the bullet went through your arm? Because it went through your hand, right?
It wasn't really that big a deal.
It didn't break your bone? It took a chip out or it broke
No,
it
like
totally?
there was this perfectly clean hole. Like I said, there was just this tiny sliver of bone connecting this part to this part.
Oh,
here
wow.
was like this perfect
Went
circle.
right in the middle and almost took it all out. Wow.
Oh, just like the sliver connecting, and it was just microscopic.
Dang.
I could see it in the X-ray.
Yeah, wow.
And it took a long time for me to. I guess around the time.
So how was your hands out like this or what? Like I don't understand how it wouldn't hit your body.
I don't know.
How it would only go through your arm.
The way I picture it in my head, and I feel like I'm sure this happened. I feel like he raised the gun and I went after him, right? And then he just shot me. It doesn't take long. And I'll connect this to you here in a second. You'll like this.
I'm ready.
But so it went through here, and the exit wound. There was this big old big, huge bruise right here and this small
Okay.
thing where the bullet hit. So it must have went there. Maybe that's just something in my mind that I believe that happened, or I don't know.
Maybe hitting the bone, it changed the trajectory of the bullet.
Probably
and then
that.
it came down and hit your.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's possible.
Too.
I thought that too.
Bullet then it must have been a small, like a 22 or
It
what?
was a 380.
Okay,
380.
really?
Okay.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is like
That's pretty small. I mean, it's big enough that you don't want to go in your body.
yeah, you want it to go in your body.
Yeah.
But I couldn't like move my fingers or feel anything till it was like May. And I remember May. And like this was January, February,
So you
March,
couldn't feel anything in your hand?
April. I still can't do anything. Like, oh, that's it. I'm done. This is it. This is
Wow.
it for the rest of my life. I can't use my hand.
But it did
And-
feel like when you were jerking off, there was somebody else. So
Yeah, that was excellent.
yeah.
No, I mean I couldn't do anything. It was like this until May. May I could do this kind of a little bit,
Really?
right? So what I did is I had a 3-pound weight, and I had that 3-pound weight, and I couldn't really grasp it, but I could kind of balance it in there, and I was like starting to do movements with the 3-pound weight. 3 pounds moved to whatever and moved to whatever. Now I can do pull-ups all day.
Mm-hmm.
I worked really hard on my recovery.
So you said the nerve was severed. I mean, they put it back together. Didn't know that was possible. I mean, but you got feeling now, right?
They really didn't do anything except for they did exactly what I would have done if I had not gone to the hospital. They just kind of cleaned it up. They didn't they just kind of poured stuff over it, wrapped it really well, and it stayed wrapped up like that for like 10 days. And then my next appointment is either 10 or 12 or 14 or something like that. Then my next appointment, went there, they took it off. And dude, that's a long time. A lot of things can get infected. So whatever they put in there must have worked really good. Because it was just wrapped,
No cast or anything.
But then they put on like one of those those crazy casts that you can there's like a knob here and it turns, but it wasn't like a plaster cast or anything like that. So they put one of those on after that, and I wore that for a while, and it hurt so badly, but it's sort of like I can endure a little bit of pain, but I wanted so badly to heal that anytime there was even the smallest amount of pain, it was like, that's a signifier. That's an indication that my hand is moving a little bit. I was so worried I wanted to heal that anytime there was any kind of pain, I'd like freak out because it's like, oh shoot, it's moving. And I needed that stuff to stay completely still so it would heal up.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, then it was like late May. I started lifting.
So what year was this that you got shot there?
2020.
Oh, okay.
So
That must have been after I seen you at the sawmill that you
Yeah.
got shot.
Yeah. Oh, and okay. So you probably don't. There's no way you'd remember this because it wouldn't have been as important to you as it was to me. Now I didn't know who you were at the time because when I had just met you, and also you were wearing a disguise, and you had
your sawmill was.
You had a chainsaw,
Sure.
and there was this part through the maze where there was like a chokehold, and I was walking with that one chick, who's like really good at the guitar and can sing so
Yeah,
good.
real short hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That would have been after though. It was October 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I remember you were there in that chokehold, and in my mind, I was playing it, but I was like, all right, if I was ever in this situation, could I get by? Right?
Okay.
So I was making it real. Now, I knew it wasn't real, and I wasn't traumatized or anything like
Okay.
that, but I was putting myself in that real situation. I couldn't get past you. If that really happened,
Yeah.
dude, anyone who approached you, you'd get them. You'd have killed them.
Well, and honestly, I think that was the year I didn't take the chain off the chainsaw. I mean, I hate to admit that, but
Yeah.
I mean, you need realism, but
I don't know if you remember that moment. Like I said, it wouldn't have meant as much to you as to me. But like
I had
was,
a big beard that season, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
and I was trying to like make it past you.
Okay.
And I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, dude, that moment was very real to me.
Was that the year that y'all were needing to find Skeeter's balls to get rid of the sawmill curse?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe
Because,
so.
if y'all found the balls of Skeeter Skinner, the curse would be let off of the sawmill.
Man, I wish I would have had those balls
in
my hand.
Yeah, it was
near
like
my
a headless
face.
horseman thing. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was one hell of a year.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Dude, because I'm a pretty independent dude, man. And had that not happened, because I was as broke as a joke who smokes to smoke coke. By that point, like that happened in January. January finishes out, February, March, April is coming up, and I'm just broke, dude. And my boss at Club Viva, Latin Dance Club, I worked at for a long time. He says, "Have you applied for unemployment?" And I'd never applied for unemployment in my entire life. And he's like, "You really need to do that. You really need to do that." Because he knows me. And so I did that, and that extra money that the government was giving, man, I needed it. Because
well, you pay that unemployment on every paycheck. Just to remind everybody out there. Yeah.
Pandemic
that inflation that everybody bitches about, it's because of that $900 extra you got a week during the fucking pandemic. But
pandemic or not, I wouldn't have been able to make it. A
lot of people wouldn't be able to make it without the $900. Yeah, I mean, for real, yeah.
Because I was unable to work anything. I wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah, I couldn't
even leave the house.
Fuck, I think I was making more money fucking not working than I did my job back then. Then I got a fucking settlement for my job back then.
Well, that's why we have inflation now, folks, right?
Yeah, right. It is 100%.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. That was a fun story with the shooting. I didn't know about that one. That's a good little
living
bit.
on a boat, getting shot. Yeah. You got some interesting stories, Ben.
Well,
I got a ton of them.
Well, there's a little bar or something we can go revisit the old spot or whatever.
Yeah, not get shot, not get in a fight, right?
Not get shot, not get in a fight.
I apologize if I took up too much of the.
No, this was about you. So
yeah.
It's just good.
This is good. This is entertaining.
So yeah, definitely come check on Sunday the retro. I forgot to show this. This is the I fucking polished this thing. I kind of fucked up.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It looks good on camera though. It definitely if you come look up in person, I fucked up. But anyways, it
looks great.
Yeah, I think you rubbed a little too much off there, didn't you?
I did. I rubbed it a little bit.
Gotcha.
I rubbed it a little too hard, but you can't tell on camera. So
if you rub it a little bit more, maybe a genie will pop out.
Yeah.
This is either Clayton or Keenan's name with the point system. I could win this Sunday. We'll see.
In theory, yes.
My brother's not going to be able to make it because of Mother's Day, and so he's not going to be a contender. But anyways, well, this Sunday we end the Retro Cup, and then check out for Poker Gladiators on the 31st of May. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for watching.
We got the open mic tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Oh man, I wish you could be a part of that.
So the open mic, which is going to be this Saturday, folks. And then not next Saturday, but the following Saturday. Then it's going to be kind of every Saturday going on for a while till it gets too hot. But it's at the new Backlot Studios warehouse owned by Clayton. That's the name we came up with. But open mic, so open rock or open comedy and karaoke. So
yep.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're gonna live stream it. You can watch it on the network tomorrow night. And soon will be a better broadcast. But when we first start out, it's going to be just like one camera kind of deal. But we're gonna bring a couple cameras and make it like a real show out of it. So kind of like the midnight special back in the day. So, thank you, Ben. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. And thank you guys for watching. We're out.
The Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. The Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs.